"What is my mom's picture doing in your mansion?" The words exploded out of Marcus before he could control them. His chest was rising and falling fast. His fingers tightened around the delivery bag so hard that the plastic handles almost tore. He had delivered to rich houses before, huge gates, fancy cars, perfect lawns. But this place felt different. It felt unreal. The mansion stood like a palace in the middle of the city. Tall, white pillars, glass walls shining in the afternoon sun, a fountain in the driveway with water dancing like it belonged in a movie. Marcus had almost turned back at the gate. He felt small standing there with his old bike and faded jacket, but work was work. His mom needed the money. Rent was due in 3 days. The security guard had looked him up and down. "Delivery entrance is around the side," the guard said coldly. Marcus nodded quietly. He was used to that look, the look that said, "You don't belong here." But today, something unexpected happened. As he walked toward the side door, a tall man in a black suit stepped out of the main entrance. His hair was perfectly styled. His shoes were polished like mirrors. Even from far away, Marcus could tell this man was powerful. "Wait," he said sharply. The security guard froze immediately. Marcus stopped too. The man walked closer, studying him, not with anger, not with kindness, just intense curiosity. "You brought my order?" he asked. "Yes, sir," Marcus replied softly. The man looked at the bag, then at Marcus again. "What's your name?" he asked suddenly. "Marcus," he answered. The man's expression changed for just a second. Something flickered in his eyes, but it disappeared quickly. "Bring it inside," he said. The security guard looked surprised. "Sir, we usually—" "I said, bring it inside," the man repeated. Marcus followed him through the main doors. The moment he stepped inside, he felt like he had entered another world. The floor was shiny marble. The ceiling stretched high above him with crystal chandeliers glowing like stars. Expensive paintings covered the walls. The air smelled clean, rich, perfect. Marcus felt dirtier with every step. He kept his head down. Don't stare, just drop the food and leave. That was the rule. But then he looked up, and his world stopped. Right in the center of the grand hallway, above a polished wooden table, was a large framed photograph. His mother, young, beautiful, smiling, her hair long and flowing, her eyes bright with hope. She looked different from the tired woman who came home late every night, different from the woman who rubbed her aching feet in silence. This version of her looked loved. Marcus blinked. No, it couldn't be. He stepped closer to the frame without realizing it. The delivery bag slipped slightly from his hand. It was her. The small scar above her eyebrow, the dimple on her left cheek, the silver necklace she still kept hidden in her drawer. It was definitely her. His stomach twisted. Why was his mother's picture hanging in a billionaire's mansion? "What is my mom's picture doing in your mansion?" The room went completely silent. The man in the suit turned slowly. The air felt heavy. Even the sound of the fountain outside seemed distant. "What did you just say?" the man asked coldly. Marcus pointed at the photograph. "That's my mom," he said, his voice shaking. "That's Elena." The man's face lost color, just for a second. The security guard stepped closer to Marcus. "Sir, should I remove him?" the guard asked quietly. "No," the man said, without looking away from Marcus. Marcus felt his heart pounding in his ears. All his life he had seen his mother struggle. She worked as a cleaner in offices during the day. At night she sewed clothes for extra cash. Some nights he heard her crying softly when he thought he was asleep. He remembered asking her once, "Mom, where's Dad?" She had smiled gently. "He's someone who made a mistake," she had said. That was all she ever told him. And now here he was, standing inside a mansion worth more than he could imagine, staring at her picture on the wall like she belonged there. "Answer me," Marcus said, louder this time. The billionaire walked closer to the photograph. His expensive shoes echoed against the marble floor. He stared at the picture like it was a ghost from his past. "Where do you live?" he asked suddenly. "South End Apartments," Marcus replied defensively. The man's jaw tightened. His breathing changed slightly. "That's not possible," he whispered. Marcus felt anger rising in his chest. Years of questions, years of watching his mom suffer. "You know her, don't you?" Marcus demanded. The billionaire didn't answer immediately. Instead, he reached up and gently touched the corner of the frame. His fingers trembled. "I've been looking at this photo for 20 years, he said softly. Marcus froze. 20 years. That was almost his whole life. The billionaire turned slowly to face him. "How old are you?" he asked carefully. 19, Marcus answered. The man's inhale sharped. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Marcus suddenly felt exposed, like this stranger was seeing something deeper than just a delivery boy. "Why is she here?" Marcus repeated, this time softer. The billionaire studied Marcus's face carefully. His eyes moved from Marcus's eyes to his nose, his jawline. And then something terrifying happened. The billionaire's expression shifted from confusion to realization. He took one slow step back. "Say your name again," he whispered. "Marcus," he replied. "Marcus what?" "Marcus Elena Cruz." The room felt like it had lost all oxygen. The billionaire staggered slightly, grabbing the edge of a nearby table for support. The security guard looked alarmed. "Sir," but the man waved him away. His eyes were now filled with something Marcus couldn't understand. Fear, regret, pain. "How long has she lived in South End?" he asked desperately. "All my life," Marcus answered. "Why are you asking so many questions? What does this have to do with you?" The billionaire's lips parted, but no words came out. Marcus felt a chill run down his spine. Something was wrong. Something big. The mansion no longer felt beautiful. It felt dangerous, like it was hiding secrets inside its golden walls. "Did you know her?" Marcus asked again, this time softer. The billionaire closed his eyes briefly. When he opened them, they were filled with emotion. "Yes," he said quietly, "I knew her." And in that moment, standing under crystal chandeliers and marble ceilings, Marcus realized that this delivery was not an accident. It was the beginning of a truth that had been buried for nearly 2 decades. "You knew her how?" Marcus stepped forward, his fists clenched tight at his sides. The question echoed through the massive hallway. The chandeliers above them glowed softly, but the warmth of the light did nothing to ease the tension in the room. Mr. Harrison did not answer immediately. Instead, he walked slowly toward a large leather chair near the fireplace. Each step seemed heavier than the last. He lowered himself into the chair like a man carrying years of weight on his shoulders. "Elena," he said quietly. Marcus froze. Very few people knew his mother's full name. In their neighborhood, she was Miss Lena. At work, she was Mrs. Cruz. To him, she was just Mom. But this man said her name like it meant something, like it still lived inside him. "How do you know her name?" Marcus demanded. Mr. Harrison let out a slow breath. His eyes drifted back to the photograph on the wall. "Because," he said softly, "there was a time when she was the only person who believed in me." Marcus felt anger rise again. "That doesn't answer my question." Mr. Harrison looked at him directly now, not like a billionaire looking at a delivery boy, but like a man staring at his past. "I grew up with nothing," Mr. Harrison began. "No money, no connections, just big dreams and bigger fears." Marcus stayed silent, but his body was tense. "I met Elena when we were both young," Mr. Harrison continued. "She worked at a small bookstore. I used to sit there for hours pretending to read because I couldn't afford to buy anything." Marcus imagined his mother younger, laughing between shelves of books. It felt strange, unreal. "She used to tease me," Mr. Harrison said, a faint smile appearing on his face. "If you're going to sit there all day, at least learn something," she would say. Marcus swallowed hard. He had never seen that version of his mother. "She was kind," Mr. Harrison said. "Too kind. She believed I could become someone important. When everyone else saw a poor, ambitious kid, she saw potential." Marcus's jaw tightened. "So you became important," he said sharply, "and forgot about her?" Mr. Harrison flinched. "It wasn't that simple," he replied. "Then explain it," Marcus shot back. Mr. Harrison leaned forward, elbows resting on his knees. "When my first business idea failed, I had nothing left. I was drowning in debt. People laughed at me." "And my mom?" Marcus pressed. "She stood by me," Mr. Harrison answered immediately. "She sold her jewelry, the only gold her mother had given her. She handed me the money and said, 'Try again.'" Marcus's chest tightened painfully. He remembered that jewelry box, empty. His mom once told him she had lost her jewelry years ago. "She never told me that," Marcus whispered. "Of course she didn't," Mr. Harrison replied. "She never wanted you to see her sacrifices as losses." Silence fell between them. Mr. Harrison stood up slowly and walked toward a cabinet. He opened a drawer and pulled out a small velvet pouch. He held it in his palm. "I kept this," he said quietly. He opened the pouch, and inside was a thin gold ring. Marcus's breath caught. "That's—" "Yes," Mr. Harrison interrupted softly, "the last piece she gave me." Marcus's heart stopped. "You said you loved her," Marcus said, his voice shaking now. "So why did you leave?" The question hung heavy in the air. Mr. Harrison closed his eyes for a moment before answering. "Because I was afraid." Marcus frowned. "When my second business started growing, investors came in, wealthy men, powerful people. They didn't like that I was dating a poor bookstore girl from the wrong side of town." Marcus's hands curled into fists again. "They told me I had to choose," Mr. Harrison said, "success or her." "And you chose money," Marcus said coldly. "Yes." The honesty stunned Marcus. "I told myself I would come back for her once I made it," Mr. Harrison went on. "But you didn't come back," Marcus said. Mr. Harrison's voice trembled. "She came to me first," he whispered. My heart pounded. "What do you mean?" "She came to my office," Mr. Harrison said. "She looked nervous, but strong. She told me she was pregnant." The world seemed to stop. Marcus's ears rang. "I panicked," Mr. Harrison continued, his breathing uneven. "I just signed a major contract. Investors were watching me. I thought a child would ruin everything." Marcus stared at him in disbelief. "What did you say to her?" he asked slowly. "I told her I wasn't ready," he said. His tears filled his eyes. "I told her maybe it was better if she handled it quietly." Marcus felt rage shoot through his body. "You told her to get rid of me?" Marcus nodded weakly. "But she didn't," Marcus said, his voice cracking. "No," Mr. Harrison whispered. "She looked at me with tears in her eyes and said, 'One day you'll regret this.'" Marcus's throat burned. "She walked away," Mr. Harrison continued, "and I let her." The silence that followed was heavy and suffocating. Marcus felt like he couldn't breathe. "So all these years," Marcus said slowly, his voice shaking, "while she worked double shifts, while we struggled to keep the lights on, you were building this?" He gestured around the mansion. "Yes." Marcus laughed once, but there was no humor in it. "You're my father?" he asked, barely above a whisper. Mr. Harrison stepped closer, but stopped a few feet away. "How old are you?" he asked gently. 19, Marcus replied, numb. Marcus nodded slowly. "Elena disappeared after that day," he said. "When I finally went looking for her, she was gone. No forwarding address, no phone number. I searched for years." Marcus felt a storm of emotions inside him: anger, sadness, confusion. "She didn't disappear," Marcus said quietly. "She survived." Mr. Harrison closed his eyes as tears slipped down his face. "I don't deserve to call myself your father," he said. Marcus stared at him. All his life, he imagined his father as a villain, a monster, someone heartless. But the man in front of him didn't look powerful anymore. He looked broken. "You are my father," Marcus said slowly, "biologically." Marcus flinched at the word. "But being a father," Marcus continued, "is more than that." Mr. Harrison nodded, unable to speak. The truth was now standing between them, not just as words, but as blood. And for the first time in 19 years, Marcus knew exactly who his father was. A billionaire, a man who chose success over love, a man who had everything except the family he left behind. Marcus took a slow step back. The truth felt too heavy to carry. The mansion, the marble floors, the chandeliers, all of it suddenly felt meaningless. None of it could erase the image in his mind of his mother coming home exhausted, her hands rough from cleaning other people's offices. "So while we struggled, while my mom worked herself sick, you were building empires?" Marcus asked, his voice shaking with anger. Mr. Harrison did not defend himself. He did not argue. He simply nodded. "Yes," he admitted quietly. Marcus let out a sharp breath. "Do you know what it's like to hear your mom crying at night and not know why? Do you know what it's like to pretend you don't need things because you see how tired she is?" Mr. Harrison's eyes filled with tears. "No," he said honestly. "I don't, and that is my greatest failure." Marcus felt tears building in his own eyes, but he fought them back. "She never once spoke badly about you," Marcus continued, his voice trembling. "Not once. I used to ask her if my father was a bad man." Mr. Harrison looked up quickly. "And she would say," Marcus paused, his throat tight. "She would say, 'He made a mistake. That doesn't make him evil.'" The words hit Mr. Harrison like a wave. He covered his mouth, trying to hold back sobs. "She keeps your photo," Marcus said softly. "In her drawer, hidden under her clothes. I saw her looking at it once. She thought I was asleep." Mr. Harrison's knees nearly gave out. He grabbed the back of a chair for support. "She kept my picture?" he whispered. Marcus nodded slowly. "For years," Mr. Harrison said, with regret, "I tried to convince myself she moved on, that she forgot me, that she was happier without me." "She wasn't," Marcus replied firmly. Silence stretched between them again. The powerful billionaire stood there like a lost man. No bodyguards, no board members, no applause. Just regret. "I donated millions to charity," Mr. Harrison said, his voice heavy. "Built hospitals, funded schools. I told myself I was helping people." He looked up at Marcus. "But I never fixed the one life I destroyed." Marcus crossed his arms. "You can't buy back 19 years, he said firmly. "I know," Mr. Harrison replied immediately. Another pause. Then Mr. Harrison did something Marcus never expected. He stepped forward and slowly removed his expensive watch, a watch that probably cost more than their yearly rent, and placed it on the table. "I don't want to fix this with money," he said, sincerely. "I don't want to hand you a check and pretend I'm a good man. I just want one chance to say I'm sorry." Marcus studied his face carefully. He was searching for arrogance, for pride, for manipulation, but he saw none, only fear. Fear of rejection, fear of facing the woman he once loved. "You think saying sorry is enough?" Marcus asked quietly. "No," Mr. Harrison answered, "but it's where I should have started 19 years ago." Marcus looked toward the photograph again. His mother's smile in that frame felt alive, hopeful. "She raised me alone," Marcus said, proud but emotional. "She didn't let me feel like I was missing something. She worked, she sacrificed, she protected me from the truth." Mr. Harrison listened without interrupting. "You don't get to walk into her life like a hero," Marcus added. "I don't want to be a hero," Mr. Harrison replied, humbly. Marcus's heart was torn. Anger still burned inside him, but there was something else too, curiosity. All his life there had been a blank space where a father should have been. Now that blank space had a face. "If you really mean what you're saying," Marcus began slowly, "then come with me." Mr. Harrison blinked. "Come with you?" he repeated. "To our apartment," Marcus said, firm. "Not as a billionaire, not with guards, not with drivers, just as a man who made a mistake." Mr. Harrison swallowed hard. "And if she slams the door in your face," Marcus continued, strictly, "you accept it. You don't force anything. You don't pressure her." "I will accept whatever she decides," Mr. Harrison said immediately. Marcus searched his eyes one last time. "Leave the car," Marcus added. Mr. Harrison nodded. That evening, the billionaire of the city walked out of his mansion without his luxury car, without his security team, without the power he was used to hiding behind. He walked beside his son. The streets grew smaller as they moved away from the wealthy district. The houses became older, paint peeling from walls, sidewalks cracked. Mr. Harrison looked around quietly. "This is where she lives?" he asked softly. "Yes," Marcus replied, calmly. They reached the South End apartments. The building looked tired, rust on the railings, faded numbers above the doors. Mr. Harrison stopped at the bottom of the stairs. His hands were trembling again. "This is the real world," Marcus said quietly. "No marble floors here." Mr. Harrison gave a weak nod. They climbed the stairs together. When Marcus reached the door, he paused for a moment. His heart was pounding again. He knocked gently. Footsteps approached from inside. The door opened. Elena stood there, wearing a simple apron, flour on her hands from cooking. She looked tired, but strong, the same way she always did. "Marcus, you're late," she said softly. Then her eyes moved past him, and she saw Mr. Harrison. The color drained from her face. The plate in her hand slipped and shattered on the floor. For a few seconds, no one moved. Tears slowly filled her eyes. Mr. Harrison looked at her like he was seeing light after years of darkness. "Elena," he whispered. Her lips trembled. "You," she managed to say. Marcus stepped slightly to the side, but stayed close. Mr. Harrison took one careful step forward, not too close. "I am sorry," he said, his voice shaking deeply. Elena's tears fell freely now. "You disappeared," she whispered. "I searched," he replied, "but I should have fought harder. I should have chosen you." Silence again. Marcus watched both of them carefully. This wasn't about wealth. It wasn't about status. It was about truth finally standing in the open. Elena looked at Marcus, her son, the child she chose to protect. Then she looked at the man who once broke her heart. Years of pain hung in the air. Finally, she spoke softly. "Why are you here now?" Mr. Harrison swallowed hard. "Because he asked me to come," he said, glancing at Marcus. Elena looked at her son with surprise. Marcus took a deep breath. "I deserved to know the truth," he said, "and so do you." Tears rolled down Elena's cheeks. For 19 years, she carried the pain alone. Now the past stood at her door. The billionaire who once chose success over love stood not as a powerful man, but as a father asking for forgiveness. And in that small apartment, surrounded by cracked walls and simple furniture, something more valuable than money was happening. A chance. Because sometimes the greatest wealth is not billions in a bank account. It is the courage to face your mistakes and the strength to decide whether to forgive.